What's up, Brew Roots listeners? We are up here in Boscawen, New Hampshire, and I'm joined, as always, by my amazing, stupendous, that's not a word, but I'm going to use it, co-host Erica and sound guy Ryan.
Hello. I just want to start off as I don't know if that's how you pronounce the town.
Well, we don't know. So when we were at Litherman's, next week's episode.
Yes.
Spoiler
Right?
alert. Spoiler alert.
We do things out of order.
Yeah, we do things out of order. They said Boscawen.
Boscawen.
Which
Yeah,
sounds like
Boscawen.
I've been watching the Book of Boba Fett, and that sounds like
Is that out yet?
yeah, it's awesome.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Wow, where have you been?
I don't know, behind the times.
Spoiler alert, it's awesome.
Okay.
By the time this episode releases, it's going to be like 4 or 5 episodes.
Literally.
probably.
Literally. So far behind.
Boscawen sounds like a bounty hunter that's out there in like Tatooine trying to
It does sound like kind of a desert place, right? Boscawen. Just
Boscawen.
No, I just think it sounds like a little town in New Hampshire.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Our little
it is.
town
It
of
is.
New Hampshire. It's Boscawen.
Town.
So festive.
And I'm very excited to do this episode today. Erica messaged us literally like 3 weeks ago, and she's like, I have
Maybe
a friend.
less than that,
Yeah.
honestly.
And it would be fucking awesome if we could do this episode. And I was like, all right, tell us more. And I could not find much about the brewery other than there was like a mainvest
Yeah.
fundraiser going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is such a good, like, great idea to do this, Erica. This
Totes.
is because we oftentimes tell the story of an already established brewery.
The romantic story.
Romantic side of
Yeah.
this.
Back in the day, I started this thing, and now here I am.
It was cool, and now everything's great.
Right. It's like what we talked to Allagash, right? Like when they were already established, right? They're very, very much so established.
Yes,
So
I was gonna
it's,
say.
it's hard for them to be like, oh yeah, 1990, whatever.
But even
Let's-
like
yeah.
next week's episode with Litherman, like they've been established for 5
Yeah.
plus years, right?
And it's easier
So-
for them to harken back to be like, yeah, it did suck opening a brewery, but we're going to talk
But
to somebody.
life's great now. It's been 5 years.
We're going to talk to somebody who's currently feels like it sucks a lot, I'm sure.
Right. In the suck of it, if you will.
Yeah. And we're
The
here
suck of it.
Sure.
into the suck of it.
That's
Yeah. And we're here with Chris from Great Blue Brewing.
Hello.
Is that a herring
It is.
reference? Okay, we're going to get into that. I was just curious for my own, like,
mental.
no, I just
No.
love birds.
Birds. You
I don't like
birder?
birds at all.
Okay.
Actually, I have a phobia of birds, but like,
Do you?
yeah. So
My mom's scared of birds too.
yeah, I got chased when I was a child by chickens. So like,
Wow.
we're going to talk about it
I'm
in
sorry.
another
lives
episode.
in a house
If,
with
if you need to
chickens.
leave, I understand that,
I won't take you out to the coop then.
I have chickens. I understand. I have chickens. I get it. It's just I'm afraid of them. They're dinosaurs.
they are though.
Yeah.
Brr.
Chickens.
Yeah. They evolved from dinosaurs. I don't know. Like, yeah. So I study all the birds to stay away from them.
You study them.
The blue herring, especially. No. But yeah. So Chris, welcome to the Brewers Podcast. Thanks
Yes.
for doing this.
This is when we
Anyways.
shoot the
Yes.
shit and nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense.
That's the conversation I like.
yeah.
Excellent.
Perfect. You've come to the right place.
So what have you been drinking up here in Boscawen?
A lot of beer.
Yeah. Is that like
good choice.
is that what you do here? Like that and ice fish? Like,
Well, there's a lot of really good options around here. Obviously, being super close to Concord, there's Concord Craft, there's Litherman's. We're close to Canterbury Ale Works.
you're only an hour and 17 minutes from Schilling too, so we calculated.
Little bit closer than
I was curious.
we got Kettlehead like 15 minutes from here.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
got Vulgar down the road. So there's a lot of really good options around here. So
And you work next to a whole bunch of other breweries.
yes,
Yeah. And breweries all around.
Yeah.
Love it.
So many breweries.
So many.
So, when we talked with Litherman's for next week's episode, they were talking about this area kind of being an untapped area for breweries. So when they found out that you were opening,
They were very excited.
Very excited.
They're like, Bosman's like
that's
loving it.
yeah, what's the community of Boston like?
So since day one, when I first started talking to people in town about the brewery, they've just been super excited. They've been really, really supportive. The planning board, when I first started talking to them, they are like, yes, we need this. This town really needs something like this. They're definitely looking for more businesses and more diverse group of people coming in, and it's just everybody's been really, really cool. There's a bunch of homebrewers around here as well that I've connected with. Other businesses, there's a coffee roaster that I've been connecting with, Stonehammer Coffee Roaster out of Concord. Everybody's just been like really like yeah, this is going to be great. So it's awesome. Really small town, but I think there's a lot of potential here for sure.
Definitely.
Love it.
So what made you want to open a brewery?
It's a very good question. So I love beer. I love craft beer.
That's probably good. Yeah.
Yep. So
Sorry.
I've wanted to do something on my own for a while. I got into homebrewing about 5 years ago. Brewed a Irish Red, I believe it was, from a kit that I got at a brewery in Salem. It was the best beer in the world.
To you.
At
me.
the time.
In retrospect, it was probably the most garbage beer ever brewed, but for me
Super
it was
peaty.
like
Yeah.
exactly. But for me it was like just like really cool because hey, I made this beer and I'm gonna drink all of it. I probably wouldn't drink any of it now at this point looking back at it, but you know, I just kept getting kit after kit. I'm like, I really enjoyed doing this. Then I got into all grain brewing, and I was brewing like every weekend, and I'm like, I want to do something with this. I started taking courses, not like real courses, craft beer and brewing online courses and stuff like that.
Wait, those are real courses. I mean, like, I know what you're saying, but like, give that credit. Cause
I learned a ton from those courses. I just not certified.
What were they again? I'm sorry. They're craft beer and brewing.
Craft beer and brewing. It's Craft Beer and Brewing magazine.
Oh, okay.
They have like little videos and courses and stuff that you can take if you have a subscription. So I did a lot of those. Joined a homebrew club, Merrimack Valley Homebrew Club. That's been awesome since day one.
So you know Phil and all those guys?
Yep,
Oh,
yep. Yeah. I know Phil. Really good guy. Yep. So those guys were awesome from day one. I'd reach out to them for tips, and I think the biggest thing about the brewing is the community feel to it. A lot of other businesses, it's a business. Brewing's a business, obviously, but everybody's in it to help each other. So that was something that kind of drew me to wanting to do something on my own. Yeah.
What made you fall in love with beer?
High school, probably.
Nice. Let's go.
Parties and obviously that stuff was not the beer that I would drink now. But I think just like the social aspect of it was a big thing for me, a big draw to it.
So we're having parties here in the future.
Well, there'll be nothing but parties here in the future. Right. It's going to be great. I like talking about beer. I like, just hanging out with people and enjoying a good beer, and, it's just good stuff.
Beer creates a good atmosphere.
Yeah, for
brings
sure.
good people. And
Do you like, I always find it interesting when I go out, a lot of times I think people talk about beer too much, right?
Yeah.
And that can be a good and bad thing, right? Like, I'm not here to but I think some of the best conversations happen over a beer. Is that what kind of gravitated you towards it? I mean, beer's delicious, don't get me wrong, but
I think that's a huge part of it. I think once I started doing like the courses and things like that, and starting learning a little bit more about the science behind the beer and the process and everything, that really interested me. Just learning about water chemistry and different yeasts and malts and stuff was kind of fascinating to me. So I think that was a big part of it as well.
Yeah. How does a conversation occur in a family dynamic to be like, I want to open a brewery, and then I want to open it on the same property that I live on?
in our house.
Yeah.
So my wife is absolutely amazing. She's been nothing but supportive since day one, since I told her that I wanted to open a brewery. She's incredible with this stuff. She's been, pushing for me to do this. Actually, part of the motivation to moving up here to Boscawen was finding a home that had a barn so that we could convert it into a brewery. So, we talk about it all the time. She's been really, really great about it.
Yeah.
So
That's
super
awesome.
supportive.
Are you at all concerned about having it on your property? I mean, that seems so crazy. There's not many that I know that have done that.
So I'm not super concerned about it because we're going to be limited hours. We're going to, obviously we're in a neighborhood, so we don't want to disturb the neighbors. We want to be good neighbors. And a lot of it's going to be packaging and I'm connecting with a lot of local businesses to distribute to and stuff like that. So it's not going to be like this super crazy party area.
Yeah. Right.
So I noticed you're wearing a polyculture shirt.
I am.
And they have
yes.
they have
I
a
did
very
notice
much similar.
Same.
Very similar.
Yeah. Have you reached out to them and talked with them?
So Chris was actually the first person I talked to about brewing on
premise
on your own
Yeah.
property. So, and he was awesome. He kind of steered me in the right direction for people to talk to and stuff like that. So we actually had gone up there with some family friends, and me and my wife were talking like, this is what we want to do. Like, this is like nice little intimate setting. It's not crazy, loud, blaring music, like relaxed place where you can have conversation and really talk about the beer, enjoy the beer, and just have fun.
You didn't take their advice on the 12-ounce cans, I say though.
No.
Well, they have really big cans.
They
do.
have some big cans.
Yeah.
For sure. But
That was no knock against them.
Yeah,
It was
no,
just-
no.
I love
of
their
course,
beer.
yeah, their beer is delicious. I forget the name of Cinder Studies. I think it was. It was a ale with Staghorn sumac. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Very cool
That's
flavors.
awesome.
Yeah.
The name Great Blue.
Yes.
How was that name not taken, and how?
And how do you have it?
Yeah, why do you have it?
In New Hampshire, you can't open a brewery unless you start with the word "great."
That seems like
okay.
that.
That makes sense. Yes.
I don't know. I went online and I searched for it, and it's just
It's
nobody
there.
took it. So there was Blue Heron Brewing in New Mexico or something like that, and I'm like, damn it.
Are there even herrings in New Mexico?
I was about to say, is that even a thing?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it just wasn't taken. So I was like, perfect. So
Is that one of your first
Just took
ones you looked for? Or?
that was the first one I looked
Wow.
for. Yep. It
Wow,
was.
congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy to do, I guess.
No.
What's the backstory behind that?
So we used to live on a small lake in Salem, New Hampshire. And that's where I brewed. I brewed out on our back porch overlooking the lake. I would start super early in the morning, and there was always a blue heron that would fly in and land literally on the shore, like right across from the house, and just hang out there for hours while I was brewing. So just kind of
the
like,
smell.
yeah. So just kind of like every time I brewed, he was there. So I'm like, oh, hey buddy, what's up? So
We're brewing
just,
today.
just seemed fitting for what I was doing. So
Yeah.
Definitely. I love it. And I love the artwork and how it's
It's all bird themed, right?
yeah, it's definitely got a theme and it makes sense and it's awesome.
I have to applaud you. I think a lot of breweries don't put what the beer is on the can directly, so I know that it's I know that that's
It's very clear. This
Yeah.
is a sour that is a tart saison.
passionberry sour.
This is
Yeah.
a milk stout.
Chocolate.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I know. I was abbreviating. Yeah, except for that one. There's a silver can over there.
Yeah.
You really didn't do a great job on that one.
yeah, the label's not ready for that one yet.
Mystery beer.
That's the aluminum can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. I like that.
That's my favorite bird.
Yes.
Birds aren't real people. Look it up. I'm just kidding.
So I also have to say, being such a new, not even really open brewery, you really have the full plan here. I mean, everything's already done. You got the theme. You have this beautiful can art.
Yeah, it's I guess what I've been planning doing this for, I just recently started the actual process, but I've been planning on opening my own place for 3 out of the 5 years that I've been brewing.
Wow.
So I've done a lot of research. My buddy Kevin does all the can art for me. He does
Kudos to Kevin.
He does a great job.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He designed the actual logo, everything all the artwork. So he's been awesome with all that stuff. Yeah. So
Got to have a Kevin in your life.
Can you talk about the first time you saw your product in a can?
I just wanted to open the can right away and drink it. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like hearing your song on the radio.
yeah, exactly. Like local licks on WHEB or something like that. But so I put it in cans. I got, my October can seamer. I'm like, I'm going to start canning this stuff. Kevin designed the first label, which was Goldfinch, which is my New England IPA. I slapped a couple labels on and I'm like,
This is fucking awesome. Yeah.
Like you couldn't just pour that out of the keg and put the can next to it. No, you got to open the can. So, but yeah, no, it's kind of cool. And whenever he designs another label and I get the label sent to me, and they always come out amazing, and it's just really cool. Like having that.
Kind of helps drive you, right?
Yeah, for
We're
sure.
in the thick
for
of
sure.
it as you are right now.
Yeah.
But my cans look really cool.
It also it's been huge with getting the name out there too. When you post stuff on social media, like people start to see like the goldfinch, the purple finch,
Yeah, I
and
feel
they're
like
like,
people definitely are starting to recognize your beer already, which is pretty huge.
yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, that's how Vitamin C started, right? Like, they were just posting shit online, and they had more of a following before they even had beer in cans,
Right.
Yeah. No, it's definitely it's huge. Like having something that looks professional, and I'm not officially open yet, but people recognize it. So,
And you don't distribute or sell any of your beer yet.
no,
Yeah.
no licensing yet. So I do like limited samples.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but eventually.
Yeah.
So in order to make this dream a reality, you are part of Mainvest,
Yes.
right? And that's like a GoFundMe, but you actually get
But it's
more of
different.
them, right?
It's revenue sharing
Yeah.
essentially.
We are definitely going to get into that. And I want to know, how do you get a brand that's not established and get people to care about that brand? But before we do that, we have a word from our sponsors.
Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4-Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWROOTS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts. All right, so Chris, I'm curious. We have a brand that not a lot of people know about, and it's hard to make people care about something that isn't physical, right, in their hands. Mm-hmm. And I think we struggle with that a little bit to a certain degree as well, because it's like you're selling something and trying to get people to support, but you don't have a tangible item right now. You have a concept, for lack of a better term.
Right.
How did you get people to care?
That's a good question.
I mean, you're very handsome. I get it.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't want to state the obvious, but
I did it for you.
I honestly, I don't know. I think, social media was a big part of it for me. Just posting in like different groups, craft beer mafia and stuff like that. I, would post pictures and people would be like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's the beer I brewed.
It's my beer.
Yeah.
And then just getting some samples out to some of those people in the groups, and then people started talking about it, taking pictures of the beer when they would get it, and it just kind of built off of that. And I like to think I'm a personable guy.
Yeah.
So when people come for samples, I'm friendly. I talk to them, kind of give them the rundown about what my plans are and everything, and just be open with them and be friendly. And
Yeah.
it's seemed to pay off at this point.
So far, so good.
So at the time of this recording, which today is
The 11th?
the 11th, thank you.
You're welcome.
of January.
Yes.
2022.
Indeed.
We just went through a crazy, shitty last year, so this is going to be a good year. You've already hit your goal. You have 17 days remaining
For your main vest.
For your main vest.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you even expect that? Did you?
No, honestly, from, the first few investments, I was like, oh, this is never going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
I remember
Like-
talking to you a couple of weeks ago when we're starting, like, we should do an episode for you and help you get there. You're
I'm like-
I know when I get there, so that'd be great.
yeah, it was crazy. Like it just, I have a lot of really supportive friends and family that kind of threw in the beginning to kind of get the momentum going. And then after that, it just kind of started snowballing. And yeah, exactly. And, the goal, was surpassed this past Saturday, which I think I'm over $10,000 over that goal right now. So, and there's still, like you said, 17 days left. So it's pretty incredible. It's gonna help a lot in terms of helping me with financing the equipment and stuff like that. So
it's not cheap to open a brewery.
nope.
No.
Can you actually explain to me what the main vest is compared to just a GoFundMe?
Yeah, so it's basically revenue sharing. So essentially, it's kind of like investing. You put in, I think it's a minimum investment of $100, and there's like a timeline where the first $50,000 that you invest, the investors would get 1.8 times or 180% their return over a period of time. So, it's not really a donation because you're going to be getting that money back plus a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool thing. And the way that it works, it's different than loans. You're not starting to pay that back automatically right away. You kind of start paying it as you start making revenue. So it's a really good outlet for.
Say for you, it actually works really well because you're not opening for another year potentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's you have a deadline still that you have to have it all paid off by, but it works out for you because it gives you, it's quarterly payments and it's set to your revenue. It's a percentage of your revenue, so it's not going to like put you, in the red.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple other breweries that used it before I signed up for it, and it was nothing but positive feedback. So I just gave it a go, and it's been awesome.
That is awesome.
As a former home brewer, because I feel like you're a professional now.
Real profesh.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Obviously, joining a club. Did you do any competitions?
That is one thing that I've never done, actually. I've judged in a competition, but I've never actually entered any beers into a competition.
Yeah. Hard getting feedback, though, right? As a home brewer.
Yeah, in the beginning it was.
Yeah.
It was like I said, that first beer that I brewed, I'm like, this is amazing. But you bring a beer to a meeting and people are trying it and you're getting the honest feedback and you're like, oh shit, like I don't know what I'm doing right now.
You're also very lucky to be in the Merrimack Homebrew Club.
Yeah, seriously.
They like that's like the first thing they say. Like, we're going to be super honest.
Mm-hmm.
It might hurt, it might suck, but we're going to be really honest. Not all people in clubs, I think, are that honest. So.
Yeah, we did the Strike Max Boil on Hefeweizen, and I was like, tore someone's apart. I was like, I do not like this at all. Like,
This is scary.
They're brutally honest, but you need that.
Helpful for someone like
especially
you.
when you're trying
Yeah.
to do what I'm trying to do. So, it's good to get honest feedback. I don't want everybody to tell me this is the best beer I ever
Or
had.
then you can improve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, maybe I'll just make the beer shittier next time. Like,
Yeah.
but
What a concept.
yeah. So no, and even when I give out samples to people, I'm like, please just like let it loose. Be completely honest with me, because I don't want people to like tell me like this beer is amazing and then just like turn around and be like this beer sucks.
Yeah.
I feel bad telling them.
Right.
I can handle it. I need the honest feedback, So
Have you had to deal with Untapped yet?
I don't think so. I don't know. I actually haven't even checked.
Good for you. We like that. That's
Don't
great.
check. Who cares?
Yeah,
We haven't checked either, so I don't know. But like, what's some of the feedback that you've gotten?
So oddly, a lot of it has been positive feedback. I have gotten some feedback where like, it was good, but it's not really my style. Like this beer here, You like it or you don't.
Which beer is that? Just
This is the Tart Saison. It's raspberry lemonade.
That'll be my next victim.
So
Is it like a rattler maybe? Is it too like sweet and sour or something?
I don't. So I've heard things like it's got a very floral taste. I've heard things like that's pretty much it. It's floral. There's a weird aftertaste that I haven't gotten before out of a beer like this.
Interesting.
It's definitely an acquired taste, that one. I enjoy it. The first time that I brewed it, I didn't brew it as a tart saison. I just brewed it as a regular saison and then aged it on raspberries.
Yep.
But I wanted to give it a little bit different kick to
Yeah,
it, so
yeah.
I first added Philly sour to it for a day.
Okay.
To kind of
Cool.
tart it up a little bit, and then pitch the Belle Saison once that started ramping up to kind of kill off that yeast and give it that little saison earthiness to the back end.
Yeah.
So
Well, for all the OG Brews listeners, we're going to do a little cracky poo.
ooh, then a little tasty poo. Oh, that was nice.
That was real nice. Real nice.
Got it all over my
It
computer.
did.
How are you sourcing your ingredients as like a?
beer and wine hobby.
Oh, really?
yeah.
So I
I'm not going to use that.
I do.
Sponsor bump done.
I do get hops and stuff from them when I'm in that area, but there's also Jasper's and Nashua
Yeah.
where I get stuff from as well. I get stuff from them more frequently because they're a lot closer than Danvers to me, obviously.
Yep.
But I work in Bedford, Mass, so on my way home, if I need something, I'll swing into beer and wine hobby.
Nice.
So
I don't know. It's interesting. So like you're still treating it as
A homebrew. Right?
yeah,
but
Well, what are you brewing on, I guess?
yeah, I guess yeah.
What size are you on right now?
5 gallons. Well,
okay,
I
you
brew
still have 5
brew
gallons.
5
Okay,
gallon
cool.
batches. I have a 10-gallon brew kettle now.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. To Blickman 10-gallon brew kettle, 10-gallon SS mash tun.
And what are you trying to buy?
So
That was
actually,
a good question.
so I am aiming for a 3-barrel system from Brewhouse Solutions out of Henniker. There's a lot of local.
Oh, so their
breweries
old
here.
system?
What is it?
Is it their old system then?
No, Brewhouse
Oh, no,
Solutions.
Brewhouse Solutions is
in
It's in
Henniker.
Henniker. I'm thinking of
it's not
Henniker Brewing.
Henniker's
I'm
old system.
sorry.
no, but so the brewer from Henniker, Devin, he also owns Wild Bloom.
Oh yeah, Wild Bloom's
So he has the same system that I'm kind of going going for. So
Cool.
Which is in Henniker.
Right.
yes,
It's
all
in Henniker,
connected,
Henniker's
But it's
Brewing.
not. Yeah.
There's
Yes.
there's just
There's
a lot
so
of
many
Henniker.
layers.
Stuff going on right now.
3 barrels. I'm always curious. A lot of breweries they start very small, right?
And then they regret it.
I regret it.
How can you? All right.
I know. I understand that.
For you?
For you.
I think it'll be fine.
You
But,
can't fit anything bigger in the bond.
exactly.
And then the bond.
But what made you go to 3 barrels?
Recommendations.
Recommendations. Cool.
It's bigger than 5 gallons.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bigger. Yeah, it's bigger than 5 gallons, Erica. Very good.
I know math.
So what's next? Like, where are you right now?
So still working on funding for the equipment and all that stuff. I am in the middle of my second application with the town. I'm approved by the zoning board. The zoning has been approved for the brewery. I just have to go through the planning board now, which is a crazy application. A lot of different things that I gotta make sure that I have handled on that. It's a big long checklist.
Now, do you have to have a lawyer with all that stuff, or are you doing it?
I'm doing it all on my own right now. So
Cool.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But it's going to be worth it in the long run for sure. So that's kind of where I'm at there. Once that's all settled, I expect that to go through, since the planning boards who have been working with since day one on this, and they've been super supportive. And then once that goes through, funding's all set for the equipment and the build out and all that stuff. Order the equipment and then start applying for federal license, TTB.
TTB.
The TTB.
Yep.
And that's what could be the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have heard though, with everything being, you can do everything online now. So it's
Oh.
not, you don't have to like mail in all this stuff. So as long as you have everything lined up, it's taking, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Optimistic over in Springfield, New Hampshire.
Yep.
But they told me it took about 4 months for them to get their TTB approved.
Geez, that's better
Not
than like 18 months,
terrible.
which I've
Yeah.
heard in the
Yeah.
past. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just got to make sure that I have everything lined up as it needs to be when I do that application. And then after that, it's state licensing. So there's still a ways to go.
So many things to get.
So
Yeah.
January 2022 is where we're at.
Yep.
What's the goal?
Spring of 2023.
Okay.
Cool.
We won't hold you to that.
Yeah, it probably won't. It's there's also long lead times on equipment.
Yeah.
I was
Stuff
gonna
like that.
say,
So
right? Yeah.
it's
Might take
it's
a year
all
for
up
you
in
to
the
get
air
the
right now. So
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever turn, let's say it's 2024, right? And you're still going through all this, right? Do you think you'll turn to another brewery to contract your stuff through?
if I can get licensing before then, yes.
No.
Yeah, because I have to start paying people back at some point.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Right.
but
You
yeah,
already have, I guess, all the artwork and everything else is ready to go.
right.
Yeah.
So
Easy transition.
it's if it comes down to it, you don't need to have the equipment to get your licensing.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to have a purchase and sales. So once that's squared away, I could theoretically, start going through my state license, do some contract brewing if I need to. So
Very cool.
Very cool.
So you already have your business plan.
yes,
Right. What goes into making that? You just search on Google, how do I make a business plan?
So I work in retail and I have a lot of people that have gone through, things like that with making business plans and whatnot. So I got some advice from those resources. Obviously did some research online and stuff like that.
Yep.
And spent a ridiculous amount of time typing. And doing
So much time.
Looking at numbers, being a part of the Brewers Association, you have access to statistics and things like that. So that's a big
Okay.
part of writing the business plan, is making sure that you have your, the numbers all in line and things like that, and your projections and
I would say, is it difficult to know that when
yep.
I was going to say you're not even selling anything?
It is very difficult to know that, but I also was working at Rockingham Brewing for a while in Derry, and
That's right.
Rob and Allie were a great resource for me through that stuff as well. So it's just knowing all these resources is or having all those resources is the easiest way to kind of get that stuff done. So
Cool. Well, we're going to dive into that a bit more.
We are, because I'm very curious. Not that I have any aspirations to open a brewery, but
But it's, good to know these things.
that TikTok generator did say that I was going to open a business.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we'll find out more on the other side of this message
Stay
from our
tuned.
sponsor.
Take it away, Ryan.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brewroot sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
So Ryan's given us an English
Master.
lesson in the dropping of the R's or the slurring of the R's.
Yeah, Erica said slur the R's, and I'm like, how the fuck do you slur R's?
It's hard.
You can't. It's not a thing. It's just phlegm.
All right, for everyone who's still here and didn't plus 30, we're back.
Welcome
We're back. Yeah.
to the nonsense.
And I'm curious.
goodness.
Erica, you were leading in with the business plan and how terrible is it to write a business plan?
it's awful. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of research, and it's a lot of typing, and it's a lot of staring at a computer screen. And
How long did it take you? Days, weeks,
Hours. No.
hours?
no, I think I probably worked on it for several weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Until it was like,
Perfect.
Close.
yeah, and it
Sounds like a master's thesis.
it's still not done. Business plans
Yeah.
like evolve as
It's a living
kind
document.
of exactly.
Well, because
Especially 'cause-
people change and
should've just made
the
it a Google
the
Doc.
market changes, right?
Yeah,
So you have
exactly.
to adapt, and you also have to adapt for people to give you money,
Exactly.
right? You kind of have to play the game a little bit.
Right.
You're such an
Well
entrepreneur.
put. Well
Yeah.
put. Well said. Indeed.
Big brain.
Are you going to try to do like any collaboration beers to kind of get your name out as well?
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to. Yeah.
Anyone in particular you'd like to?
I mean, I would love to work with Rockingham. You know, they were awesome for me. When you're not in the industry and you want to get into the industry, it's really difficult to get into a brewery if you don't have that experience. And Rob and Allie kind of gave me that chance. So that was a big thing for me. I would collaborate with any of the breweries around here for sure. Like everybody that I have met and I've talked to has been awesome. So, and there's so much great beer around here.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Rockingham. Did you go into it with the idea of learning what you could because you knew you wanted to start a new brewery?
Not exactly. so I thought I wanted to start my own brewery, but I didn't want to just jump into it. I wanted to get into the industry and actually, be immersed in the, what you do at a brewery, because I didn't want to just like, I'm going to open a brewery and then open and be like,
God.
oh, this sucks.
This is terrible.
So, I wanted to make sure that, if I was going to do this, it was something that I'm actually going to enjoy doing. And turns out it is. So
Good. And
oh, sorry. Yeah.
no, I was gonna say, so what did you do there? You were just
I
packaging,
I was part-time cellar worker.
Okay, cool.
I did packaging. I did a lot of cleaning, dry hopping,
Nice.
canning line, stuff like that.
So a lot of things that no one really wants to do.
But it's good to know how to do because that's
correct.
what
Yeah,
they're going to
yeah.
be doing.
So like if you like that, then you're gonna like everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Except for the part of owning a business, which is the tough part.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
You have
For
to
sure.
you have to do that work-life balance, right?
Yep.
How do you plan on doing that whole work-life balance, especially when you live a 5-second walk from the tap room, right?
Well, when I'm not brewing, I'm talking about beer. So that's kind of my work-life balance, anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know. It's much better than the work-life balance that I have working retails.
Yeah.
Much
That's
less,
true.
Less
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, there's just like we've interviewed people where they were glad that they lived actually far away because then they can't
They can separate
go to
it
the tap
more.
or go to the brew house, right, and check. Oh, did I do this thing?
Yep.
Right. Or you know what? I want to taste that one more time. I'm gonna go to the brew house. They're constantly leaving home.
Or is it like call working? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All those little things that, maybe someone else in the household might not appreciate, right? It is, I think, important to have that work-life balance.
Yeah, for sure.
And find that.
For sure.
I haven't found it.
No.
No.
You live at the fish market.
I do. Yeah, it's great.
See how I started my R there?
Yeah, I like that.
That's
Thank
not. We're back there.
So what's your hope for this year?
For this year, my hopes are to be able to get everything funded, and get all my applications approved.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Are you planning on, if you get the equipment before you open officially, are you planning on selling anything to retail before you're open or?
It's definitely a possibility. It would probably help in the long run in terms of, starting to pay people back a little bit sooner than anticipated. Plus, giving away free beer gets expensive too. So
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
it?
yeah,
Yeah, you can test out the equipment too and
Yeah.
adapt
Fine-tune.
anything,
Exactly.
figure out your workflow
Yep.
and how to better position everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you tested any of these recipes on a larger scale yet?
I have not.
Interesting.
So look at that.
That'll be fun, too.
Learning all every
So
day.
many things.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve for sure.
Yeah.
So
I think this is one of those episodes where knowing we need to do an episode with you next year at this time.
Oh, definitely.
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Because,
Part 2.
yeah, I think there's a lot that we can't ask at this point, right? Because we don't know. And, we want people to invest right now if they can. So we're going to have the link for it below in our doobly-doo. And we're going to also put that in our link tree in our bio so you can easy for us to, instead of clicking a million things, just go to our Instagram. That's like the
Definitely.
central place to do it. But, what's your $2 pitch to people? Let's get people to invest.
I think the biggest thing is investing in local, investing in community. That's a big part of opening up here is, like you were saying earlier, this is an untapped community. This is a place where, the people in this town could benefit from something like this. So I think it's not just about, opening a brewery. It's about, supporting the local community as well.
Right.
And that's kind of a big thing that we're all about here. So I think that, you're not just investing in us, you're investing in
The community. Yeah.
So
And from what we've heard, the community has been embracing.
very,
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is huge.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't imagine not wanting to have a brewery in your community.
Right?
It's like,
Come
it
on
sounds so
now.
silly at this point.
So we had our public hearing for the zoning permits and whatnot. And, obviously the public could come to that, and there was nobody showed up to oppose, and we did have some people there
Wow.
to support.
That's
So,
awesome.
That's awesome.
It was nice to see
Great.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great spot. There's breweries all around, but they're, far enough away where it's, we need to draw people into this area.
Right.
Listen, it's so funny when you say like far enough away and then you're like in Oklahoma or you're in Texas, right? And
It's
you're like,
3 hours.
My closest brewery is 3 hours away. It's like, we are very lucky.
It's
yes.
so
Yeah.
crazy.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Completely different mentality
Yeah.
here.
people wouldn't expect to drive through Boscawen and
Get a brewery.
have a brewery.
Right.
Let
So-
alone there's,
Right.
yeah.
Random question.
Yeah.
What are you planning on doing, like physically? Like, are you changing your layout at all? I mean, your driveway is pretty small.
So
I was thinking
just
the
right-
same thing.
right,
I'm like, where
throwing
are
it
these
out there.
motherfuckers gonna park? All right.
Parking garage, right? No,
yeah. So we're gonna no. So the way that the zoning works is you need one parking spot per 100 square feet of the building. So
Okay.
the building is 625 square feet. So we're only technically
6
supposed to have 6 spots, which
that sounds good.
it looks
You don't
small.
have?
Yeah.
It looks
It's
small
not.
because of the snow.
It's
You
not.
do have 6 spots?
Yes, we do.
Wow.
So actually in front of the house, there's a stone wall, and there's enough space from that stone wall to the road to park a car perpendicular to the stone wall.
Okay.
So
People are gonna
probably
have to-
fit 3 or 4 cars
I love
there.
it.
People got
So-
to learn how to parallel park. All right. All right.
They might
So-
know how to do that here.
And
So obviously, we're not going to want people parking
On the street.
on my neighbor's
Yeah.
lawn
Yeah.
and stuff
Right.
like that. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's definitely going to be something that we have to that we are figuring out.
I'd be
with-
curious.
so that was
like,
the 3.
if push
I
comes-
want to know where the other 3 spots are.
They're right here.
right in front of the barn.
Really?
In the barn, right in
In
front
the
of the barn. So the beer garden is actually going to be out behind the barn. So what you
okay.
guys didn't see when you drove in here is, the yard actually goes back and behind the barn.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
that's where the beer garden will be. So the parking will be, here, and we could do some parallel
That's
going
cool.
down
Nice.
the driveway as well.
Yeah.
And then 3 or 4 spots in the front.
Yeah.
So now what happens if you're super successful and you're really busy and 10 cars show up,
20.
right.
30.
Yeah, potentially.
We might have to explore something like reservation only for a little
Yeah,
bit or something
yeah.
like that. And then eventually, look into a second location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the ultimate goal is to get that popular, you know? So,
So ideally, at some point, you would like to have maybe your own spot somewhere in a larger location.
yeah. I think down the road for sure, especially if it, you know, we're in the middle of nowhere here, so you don't really know how much it's going to blow up. But if it gets to a point where, you know, we can't sustain
Girls on Hill Farm
here,
Yeah.
exactly. So, you know, then that's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to consider.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
What advice do you have that's to somebody who's not in your position right now, but just before where you are?
well,
It can't be don't do it.
I wouldn't say that to anybody. I think though, especially if it's something that they're passionate about, like don't give up on it.
Yeah.
Definitely just keep pushing forward. There's a lot of frustrations and a lot of stress involved. But you know, when you see the big picture and you look forward, it's like, this is actually happening.
It's awesome.
You know, like 2 years ago when we talked about this brewery, 3 years ago, you know, I honestly I'm like, yeah, I want to do it, but I didn't think that it would get to the point that we're at right now.
You're actually doing it.
Right. But for somebody that's, you know, prior to the stages that I'm in, I think the most important thing, if they can do, is try to get into a brewery, to work at a brewery, to make sure it's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize how much stuff is involved in running a brewery day to day. And that's, you know, crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we said, we certainly glamorize it a lot.
We do. Yeah.
And it's honestly a very dirty, physical, tough job
Yeah.
running a brewery.
Do your research. That's you know, the biggest thing.
I think that's a big advice for a lot of industries. Yeah. But yeah, especially this one. All right. So we want people to follow you on social media and stay up to date with all the stuff that's going on for you. Where are you located on social media?
So we're on Facebook. It's at Great Blue Brewing Co., I believe.
We'll have a link for it. Don't worry.
Yeah. We're on Instagram as well at Great Blue Brewing Co. We do have a Twitter that
we don't use it.
that I
Don't
never
worry.
use.
We don't use ours either.
But social media is the biggest, the easiest way to get through to us. Yeah.
Very cool.
So
Well, thank you, Chris, for doing this today.
thank you for coming up and.
It's not that far. You've
Honestly, it was not
it was
that
a nice
bad.
drive.
It was a nice hour. It's a beautiful location here, honestly. So it was really pretty.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'd
Come
buy a
back.
vacation home here.
I'd buy a house here. Yeah.
Let's all chip in.
Sounds good.
Brew's vacation home.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, not excited.
I think it would be a vacation hanging out with you guys.
Yikes.
Well, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.